Hello everyone. I thought I would do a video because it's been a very long time since I've done a face-to-face video here on YouTube, and I'm kind of in a little bit of a transition period. If you've been around for a while, or even if you're new, you probably noticed that I haven't really been uploading anything over the past couple of months, really since probably, I believe it was July. I started taking some time to myself, and I wanted to kind of jump on and just sort of say where I've been, what I've been doing, what's coming up for the rest of the year. And also I was going to draw just a couple of cards for the full moon in Pisces, because here in Australia it's actually the full moon right now. It's daytime, but it's the day of the full moon at the moment, so I thought it's the perfect time just to draw a couple of cards and just to see the energy that we're working with as well, and get an additional little bit of insight. So before I jump into that, hello. It's been a long time. So I took some time to myself. There's a few reasons. Predominantly it was just because I was experiencing burnout. This has been an on again, off again situation that I've experienced over the years since launching my spiritual business and launching this channel, which was back in 2020. If you know me, you know that I am someone who goes all in, and I don't know how to have a break. I tend to burn the candle at both ends and feel like I need to do all the things. So I have hit walls quite a few times on this journey, which, that's part of the learning process. And I wouldn't take anything back. I have learned a lot along the way. But I kind of hit a very big sort of milestone for myself back in July. Now, July actually, or Leo season, is the 8th house for me, so it's always a time of death and rebirth, and that's really when I tend to go through sort of transitions as well. And I decided that I needed to take a break. I took a break from everything. I found that the spiritual community in general was also quite overwhelming. If you haven't noticed, there's a lot of scammers out there at the moment, and you are not safe on any kind of social media. They are targeting YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you name it, they're targeting it. So I was getting kind of overwhelmed with that kind of stuff, and there was a little bit of a heaviness as well within the community itself. So I decided to step back and focus on myself. And this time when I did it, I actually completely switched off from everything. So I actually paused Patreon, which I don't usually do. I paused everything. I've actually since then I've deleted my Instagram, so you can't find me on Instagram. Well, you can't find my spiritual stuff on Instagram because I removed that. You can still find me on Facebook, but I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that either. That may end up, I don't know. I'm in two minds about that. The only thing that's going to stay is YouTube, because I put a hell of a lot of time and effort into this channel over the years, and I'm very proud of everything that I've done here. So that won't be going anywhere. I've also gone through big adjustments in my own personal life as well, my own spiritual connections, and been going on a very personal deep dive into, I don't want to say it's not a dark night of the soul or anything like that. I think that term's kind of thrown around too much. It's more of a self-exploration. There's been a lot of healing as well, because you can't do that kind of work and not experience healing, but it's more about getting back in touch with myself. There's been a lot of connections into like my inner child. Again, I don't even like using that term. That's really not the right term. I want to say like old dreams, more so dreams and desires and creative things that I have had since I was a child. So there's that expression of overcoming anxieties and fears, the Nine of Swords, and the rest, Four of Swords. So what I mean by this is I've actually been doing things just for me. In the past, when I've taken breaks, I've still done content in some way, shape or form that has been for others, not just for myself. And I've used the excuse that it's for me when it hasn't just been for me. And I've been doing a lot of stuff focusing on my health and getting back into like a routine with healthy eating, fitness and things like that as well. So I just went all in on just focusing on me. It was a big adjustment to not feel selfish and to not feel like I wasn't achieving things and like letting other people down. Like that's a real big adjustment that I had to go through. And what I've actually done is I've been following a passion of mine. If you know me or if you've been around for a while, I've mentioned it a few times before. Writing is one of my big loves, and reading. But I've been a writer on and off for my entire life. Like since I was a little kid, I've always written stories. That's been a big dream of mine, and a dream since I was a child was always to be published. I always wanted to be a published author. So over the past few months, through this journey of self-exploration, I've actually been going back to my writing, which is for me, purely for me. Writing is first and foremost something that I do for myself. It's a very healing journey as well. And I actually had a lot of fun experimenting with different stories and different ideas, and I ended up publishing a book. So I am officially announcing that I've been writing under a pen name. The reason being is because for me the pen name kind of helped me put on a persona or a mask, I guess you could say, of being that writer person. It helped for me to emotionally and mentally detach from perfectionism, a problem that I've had my entire life, especially with writing. So this is not a story that I've had other stories that I've submitted to publishers and stuff in the past, and my problem was my perfectionism just wouldn't let them go. I couldn't stop adjusting and changing and doing things to them, so it got overwhelming and I would burn myself out. Whereas I started writing under a pen name, specifically in the paranormal romance genre, spicy content, which has been amazingly fun to do, and it also just helped me to detach just a little bit, so I felt a little bit more confident in what I was doing. So I can officially say that I have already published my first book. This is book 1, and my pen name is Belladonna Vixen. That is what I'm writing under, and this is the official book for book 1. Book 2 came out today, and I'll be getting hard copies of book 2. They're arriving tomorrow actually. But book 2 is actually available to purchase as well, and book 3 will be coming out next month. So I've been doing a lot. I've written 2 and a bit books, 2 and a quarter books, I should say, and this has been a major achievement for me, a major dream. It's quite interesting that I'm saying this on the Pisces full moon, because Pisces rules my 4th house, my IC point, and Pisces in that aspect in your chart actually represents things to do with your childhood, your roots, your emotional foundations. This is the energies that you experienced as a child. So it's kind of ironic that I'm talking about that on the full moon in Pisces, because full moons are completion. So this is really about that insight into completing an aspect or a dream. Pisces is dreams as well, the subconscious self, and completing something that has been a dream of mine since I was a child. So I'm going to put the links below if you are interested. It's available through Amazon. It's also in the Kindle Unlimited program as well. So you can get either a paperback, ebook, or borrow it through Kindle Unlimited. So you can read it for free if you're a member of Kindle Unlimited. So I'm going to leave the links for the books below. Please be warned, they are spicy content. So it's paranormal romance. This is kind of like the werewolf trope as well. It's reverse harem. It's spicy. It's got Greek mythology undertones. It's just fun. It's an easy, fast-paced read. It does have plot. a plot line. Book 1 is probably more intense than book 2 and book 3 to a certain degree, but yeah, so if you want to check it out, you're more than welcome to. And this is something that isn't going to stop. Like I said, like this is a passion of mine. Like I love doing tarot, and I love doing astrology, and I love doing mythology, and I love doing photography and all of that kind of stuff. I love being creative in those ways, and I love tapping into my spiritual self. But writing for me is, I can't even put words to it. It's not just a passion. It's not just a hobby. It's not just a dream. It's something entirely different. I have got stories upon stories upon stories that are on my computer from years and years ago, and ideas that I've had for stories since I was a kid that just continue to build, and I never had the confidence to just jump in and actually just publish. So that's, that here I am doing that. So so that's the big thing, I guess, that's been happening behind the scenes while I've been doing things for myself. I've been focusing on me, and I'm still not 100%, but I am in such a better place than what I was. Now, I also going to be making some adjustments moving forward on, like, I want to get back on here, start to get back into a bit more of a routine with the content that I'm uploading, and just getting back into the rhythm of things, because there's so much stuff that I kind of want to share, but I haven't felt that call, I guess, to jump on and do readings and things like that. I've only been doing them when I really feel that pull to. The next thing that I want to sort of chat about is, because I am doing so much of my writing now, and this is like where my focus is going to go to a certain degree, because I'm going to be continuing to do something just for me. I'm going to make decisions to close off other aspects. So as I said, YouTube is not going to go anywhere. YouTube is going to stay the same. I'm still going to upload readings. I'm still going to do astrology things and that kind of content, and witchy content as well. I'm going to try and bring back some more of that, especially because that's also going to be coinciding to a certain degree with some of the writing and stuff that I'm doing as well. Because I can't, like, I write paranormal stuff, I write fantasy stuff, magic and that kind of thing. I can't not write that kind of thing. So it's going to be influencing or tying in, I suppose, to content that I'll do here as well. But I am going to be closing off Patreon for now. So my Patreon community, which is my private community, I'm going to be shutting that down. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing with private readings. I'm going to be making a decision probably throughout Virgo season if I'm going to be keeping those open or not. So if you do want a private reading, now's the time to get one, because you may not be able to get one in the future. So I might be closing those off, and I probably will like maybe open them up for limited times randomly, but I can't guarantee that. At this point in time, I'm going to be closing all of that stuff off. So it's only going to be the free content that I do here on YouTube and readings that I do here on YouTube that is going to be readings that I do from now on. So really, if you want something, September is the time to do it, because at the end of September, that's when I'm closing everything off, all my Patreon stuff, probably private readings as well. So yes, it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment. There's certain things in my own personal life that I want to do. Look at that, 6 of Swords, journeying to calmer waters. And the Hermit, Virgo season, doing the inner work. I love that. You can tell I haven't been using cards very often, because like I'm like a little kid getting excited again when I tap into them. So yeah, it's going to be very, very different, and I want to start getting back into the little bit more personalized stuff as well. Yeah, I mean, you guys will see it. It's gonna evolve as it does. I'm a Scorpio. I'm constantly evolving. If you've been around since the beginning, you know how often I have changed and evolved things. So that's not gonna stop. So on that note, let's jump into the reading, and we'll get a little bit of an insight on Pisces energy. So I want to just make a couple of notes first of all. with what the energies we're dealing with at the moment astrologically. So this is the full moon, obviously. So we have that energy of completion. Pisces is the 12th sign of the zodiac. So there's that kind of like extra oomph that we have with the finales. We do have Virgo, we're in Virgo season. So the sun is opposite the moon in the sign of Virgo. We have Venus in Virgo. If you do follow me on Facebook, I actually put up a really good post a couple of days ago now for this transit through Venus through Virgo. So go and check that out if you are interested, because there's a personalized tarot spread to do through this season. There's also journal prompts as well, because this Venusian energy with Virgo, I know if you've been watching other readers and tarot, like astrologers and tarot readers and stuff, this is, I don't want to say negative stuff, but people were sort of focusing on the fact that Venus is in her fall, but I wanted to come across from a different perspective. This is her going through the underworld. So definitely check that out. We have Mercury going retro. Well, he's actually officially retrograde now. He turned retrograde yesterday. So we have him joining the retrograde connections. So we also have Neptune in retrograde, Uranus in retrograde, Saturn in retrograde, Chiron is in retrograde, Pluto's in retrograde, and at the end of October, Mars will be joining the retrograde energy as well. So we do have a lot of retrograde energies. There is those squares coming up again between Uranus and Saturn, which has been happening since 2020. There's been a lot of intense energies. There is some strong intensity that we can be dealing with at this point in time, but I don't like to focus on that, because I feel like the more we focus on trying to say in astrology that everything is going to be hard, like Mercury causing chaos, for example. Now, I want to make a note too. This year, Mercury is starting retrogrades in air signs and then moving into earth signs. So he started his retrograde cycle in Libra, but he will be going back into Virgo as well. So a lot of that Virgo energy is going to be touched. So Virgo as an archetype right now is really being highly activated. This doesn't mean if you're not don't have heavy Virgo energy or not a Virgo yourself, it doesn't mean it's not going to affect you. This is the collective archetype of the energy of Virgo. Depending on where you are, if you're in the northern hemisphere, you're coming into autumn. If you're in the southern hemisphere, we're in spring now. But that's connected into the mythology of Persephone. So this is that either the rise or the descent from the underworld energy. So really focusing on the connections in the mythology behind Hades and Persephone and the goddess Demeter to a certain degree as well. And that's going to give you a bit of a insight, I suppose, as to where we're going as a collective. We're going through a lot of shifts and changes, facing shadows, releasing things, embracing new versions of ourselves. So this is all being highlighted through this full moon. Because we are dealing with that completion, that illumination, which is full moon illumination. This is also a really great time to review the past 6 months. So looking back at the new moon in Pisces during Pisces season at the beginning of the year, what has happened since then? So really since that like February, March kind of time frame, what was initiated then and where are you right now? Where have things gotten to? What needs to shift, what needs to change. This is an introspective time, regardless of where you are, regardless of what this is affecting in your chart. This is really a time to be a little bit more introspective and do some reviews in your life goals, your life plans, especially because we are moving towards eclipse season. Scorpio season is eclipse season this year because of the nodes being in Taurus and Scorpio respectively. All the eclipses up until mid next year will be in Scorpio and Taurus. So as we're gearing up to that eclipse season again, this is a great time to start preparing, and also to reflect back on what we experienced during eclipse season last year. So and the beginning of this year. So we had Taurus and Scorpio energy eclipses at the beginning of the year. So around about, I want to say like April sort of time frame. March, April. And then back in November last year, we had the first Taurus solar lunar eclipse. Yeah, we had the first lunar eclipse. So looking at those energies, what's kind of been happening in the background in your life, these are all the things we need to focus on at this point in time, because this is the preparation stage. This is the step back and look at the bigger picture. The ruler of Pisces is Neptune, but the ancient ruler of Pisces is Jupiter, who is also retrograde. I think I missed out Jupiter when I said the retrogrades. Jupiter is in the sign of Aries and will be coming back into Pisces. So we need to look at that connection to Jupiter and Neptune. So Neptune represents the subconscious depths of our mind. This is illusions. This is watery emotions. This is the energy of Poseidon, of the depth. This is the ocean. And then we have Jupiter. Now there is that interesting connection when we're looking at mythology, that Jupiter is actually connected to the oceans as well, because Jupiter, or Zeus, when he was a baby, to hide him from Kronos or Saturn, his mother actually gave him to nymphs to raise. So he was raised by sea nymphs. So he has that connection to the ocean, which we can see with that ancient rulership of Pisces. Being retrograde at the moment, this is all about that introspective kind of energy, and there's unfinished business for Jupiter in Pisces. So when we're looking at this full moon and this energy, really from now for the next 2 weeks as well, until we hit the new moon, this is the time when we can reflect on anything that's been unfinished in our lives, anything that's coming to the surface now. There's a reason, especially with that Mercury retrograde. There's a reason for it coming into our life, especially if it's a return of something from the past, or if it's tying up loose ends kind of feelings. You might be seeing the glimpses of the doorways of like new beginnings starting to occur in your life, but there's certain things that need to be released and let go of first before you can completely step into that reality. Neptune energy also connects to reality. So what reality are you living in at this point in time? What reality are you trying to manifest? And what reality, like this is almost like the it's like a blurred kind of like timeline and time where we can see multiple timelines of our life, and this is our opportunity to begin to manifest the one that we actually want to step into. So let's get a couple of tarot cards and see if there's any extra insight that we can get. There's like this, let yourself be lost to fantasies, but you can lose yourself in the fantasy, but don't become stuck there, if that makes sense. It's like using a book as an example. When you read a good book and you become immersed in that world for that small period of time, this is like the time to visualize the kind of world. This is why I'm saying big picture, because this is the time to actually step back in your life and go, what is the big picture? What kind of life do I want to live in? What kind of life do I want to manifest and create? Interesting. All right, I'm going to get one more card. One more tarot card. Okay, so we have the Page of Swords on the bottom and the Empress underneath that, creation. Pages also always represent something beginning, the new energies, the new potentials coming in. Page of Swords is about gathering information, gathering intel. Swords represent our mind, our mental body. So this is just further emphasizing to me that we are reflecting and gathering information. This is like, it's that review stage. This is the review on our life, seeing what we have learned so far, what we want to step into, what we want to achieve as we move forward, especially because we have the Page, then we have the Knight. So we're moving from the Page to the Knight. The Knight of Swords gets a bad rap in tarot. We tend to focus on his rashness, on the fact that he jumps in without thinking. He's quite ambitious and doesn't necessarily think about the consequences. But with the other cards that we have here, what I'm seeing with this is once we gather that information, that intel, that reflection on what this like retrograde season is asking of us, what this full moon is asking of us, once we've got that information, this is our time to actually jump in. This is that leap of faith kind of energy, especially because we have the full. This is jumping in. This is no more procrastination. Don't procrastinate about life anymore. Don't make up excuses about things anymore. This is going after your dreams and manifesting the world that you want to create. We have the Fool and the Ace of Cups with that Knight of Swords. The Fool is going into the unknown. It is the pure essence of creation. It's the zero energy. This is the energy of creation itself. This is the 0 point. And it's also that leap of faith on not knowing exactly how things are going to manifest, how things are going to work out, but taking the chance anyway. This is the universe saying, you gotta jump. You don't know if the universe is going to catch you, but life is too short to not make those leaps of faith. There is so much energy ushering you forward. The Ace of Cups is also that new beginnings, that new potential. It's an ace, but you have to reach out for the ace. The aces don't just fall into your lap and then something new happens. With the Fool and the Ace of Cups and that Knight of Swords, you have to actually go after it. This is the universe going, hey, I'm going to offer you, here's the hand, offering it to you, but you have to reach out and take it. This is your chance to do that. But doing so in a way where you are actually coming from an understanding of the status quo is just not working anymore. You need to move forward into a new reality. The last card that we have is the Four of Pentacles. The way I'm seeing this Four of Pentacles is foundation. It's also manifestation, because it's Pentacles, which is earth energy. This is the physical energy, but this is also foundation. So this is creating and building on a solid foundation. Generally, we see the Four of Pentacles as like holding on too tightly to something, but I'm not seeing it that way. I'm seeing that as this is the foundation that you're leaping from. This is the foundation that you're creating. Let's get some oracle cards for any additional messages. This is a very potent time, astrologically, spiritually, physically, for everyone. Okay, that's a lot. Am I taking all of those? Yeah. More than I expected, but that's alright. Look at that. We have Neptune on the bottom, card number 22. So we have that, and that adds up to 4. 4 is a foundation. We have the Four of Pentacles. This is the builder. This is how I'm seeing it. This is the foundation that you are building. What are you building in your life? And this is Neptune. This energy represents perspective. This is a new shift in perspective, a change in perspective. We also have the Etterman Star, which is red jasper, conviction. This is really emphasizing that Knight of Swords energy. The Knight of Swords doesn't question things because he has such conviction in his beliefs that he knows, even if he can't see the outcome, he knows everything is going to work out fine. And if it doesn't, he knows he can fix the problem. That's why he can sometimes be a little bit rash when he's running into things and jumping into things, because he has the confidence and the conviction of his beliefs. We also have the Universal Chakra, which is card 19, which adds up to a 10. So that's completions and new beginnings. This is insight. And this is coming underneath the Fool. So we have that 10 energy with the Fool. A 1 and a 0. So, and this is new insight. coming through with the universal chakra here. So this is really emphasizing that aspect of saying you may not know how things are going to manifest or how things are going to show up in your world, but you have to have faith in yourself. You have to have faith in the process and faith in life. We also have the North Node expansion with Opal. And remember the North Node, I'm actually going to leave that last because that's connected to that Taurus energy. The North Node is in the sign of Taurus at the moment as well. We also have another 4 actually. This is 13, so it adds up to 4. So we have 444 coming through. So there may be a significant number that you are seeing at this point in time, but this is the moon. We are in the full moon. This is transition, and we have that butterfly energy. So this is the transition stage. This is where we are. I want to say we are we're already in the chrysalis stage. This is where we are beginning to break free. This is where the butterfly is beginning to emerge. That's the stage that we are in, but it's like the final aspects that we need to leave things behind, the final decisions that we need to make to actually step into that next reality. That's why we have that North Node energy. With expansion, with it being in Taurus, Taurus represents the physical world, the material world. We have that 4 of Pentacles as well, the material world that we're building. This is our belief system. This is our destiny. The North Node represents the energies that we are moving towards. The South Node is where we are moving away from, which is Scorpio energy. That's that transition. Scorpio represents death and rebirth as well. But we are moving as a collective into a new beginning. This is where we're expanding. This is why it's expansion. Expanding into something new. But this is happening on individual levels as well. But you have to make the conscious decision to actually step into that destiny, step into that reality. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to leave it there because I just feel like I'm going to just start repeating myself outside of that. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I will be seeing you all a lot more frequently as we move forward. It's going to be a little bit like hit and miss through September as I slowly come back into a routine, but moving forward there is definitely going to be more content coming out and more like just fun stuff, I suppose, as well. So I hope you have a wonderful full moon, everyone, and I will chat to you in the next video. Bye.